The last carbureted pickup truck sold in America was a 1994 Isuzu with a 2.3-liter four-cylinder. Since that day, every truck rolling off a domestic assembly line has answered to a computer before it answers to you. In 2026, a base model Ram 3500 costs $78,000 and phones home to a satellite before the fuel pump pressurizes. A DEF sensor failure, a $45 part, will derate that truck to 5 miles per hour on the shoulder of Interstate 80 in January. 5 trucks still exist that will never do that. They have no engine control module, no onboard diagnostics port, no oxygen sensor, no catalytic strategy, and no opinion about the quality of your fuel. They start on compression or carburetion, and they stop when you tell them to. Every one of them is still on the road in 2026. Every one of them can be bought for under $8,000. And the one your entire comment section wants, the one that started this whole religion, is not on the list because you cannot afford it anymore. If you want a truck that answers to you and not to a computer, the rule is simple. If you can rip every wire off the engine and it still runs, it qualifies. No engine control module, no OBD port, no oxygen sensor, no electronic choke, no computer-controlled carburetor. If any chip or sensor can leave you stranded, it's out. This isn't about nostalgia or badge loyalty, it's about mechanical sovereignty. Your truck starts, runs, and drives because fuel and spark meet metal, not because a circuit board agrees. Every truck on this list can be bought for under $8,000 in 2026 and passes the zero computer test. If you're not sure, pull the wiring harness and see what happens. If it dies, it's not on the list. If you are hunting for a truck that is truly computer-free, you need to know the hard cutoff years. For gas engines, the big three all slammed the door on carburetors by the mid-1980s. General Motors dropped carbs after 1986, Ford after 1985, and Chrysler locked it down in 1987. Anything newer, expect electronic fuel injection, sensors, and a control unit you cannot ignore. Diesel held out longer, but the EPA's 1998.5 rule forced every new diesel truck to run electronic injection. Before 1998, diesels had mechanical pumps and zero computers. After 1998, every diesel has an ECU calling the shots. This is not trivia. These are your filters. General Motors, 1986, Ford, 1985, Chrysler, 1987 for carbs, and 1998 for diesels. Stick to these years or older if you want true mechanical independence. Number 5 is the Detroit Diesel 6.2-liter, specifically the 1982 to 1986 Chevrolet and GMC K20 and K30. This is the cheapest ticket into true mechanical diesel ownership, and the only reason it is not higher is because everyone in the comments will say it is slow, loud, and underpowered. They are right, but they are missing the point. This truck does not care about opinions or sensors. It runs because fuel hits metal, and the Stanadyne DB2 831 pump tells it when. Let's talk numbers. The 6.2-liter V8 puts out 130 horsepower and 240 pound-feet of torque in its early years, and later models edge up to 135 horsepower and 265 pound-feet, but do not expect miracles. You get a Delphi mechanical lift pump, no computer, no onboard diagnostics, no limp mode. If you are looking for the CUCV military version, you will pay more. Civilian K20s and K30s with the 6.2 can still be found for $2,000 to $6,000 in running shape in 2026. That is half the price of a rusty Cummins. Glow plugs are your first stop on maintenance, $8 each. The DB2 injection pump, budget $400 for a full rebuild, and do not cheap out, because a tired pump means hard starts and smoky idles. The only electronics you will find are the glow plug relays, and if you want to go full prepper, you can wire those direct. Early 1982 blocks are known for cylinder wall wear, so if you see one, walk away. Later blocks are tougher, and every part is available from farm supply catalogs. You want a truck that shrugs off electromagnetic pulses? bad fuel, and the apocalypse? This is it. Every system is mechanical, every failure is field fixable. The DB2831 pump is rebuildable on a workbench with a $40 kit and a set of feeler gauges. Nothing in the fuel system requires a laptop, a scan tool, or a trip to the dealer. If you want mechanical sovereignty and you are not chasing horsepower, the K20 and K30 6.2-liter is the diesel baseline. It is not pretty, it is not fast, but it will still be running when modern trucks are waiting for a firmware update in the dealer lot. At number 4, the Ford F250 and F350 with the 6.9-liter International IDI diesel. If you want a truck that's stubborn, cheap, and answers to no one but a wrench, this is your mule. Built from 1983 to 1987, the 6.9 IDI is what happens when Ford and Navistar decide to outlast the apocalypse using nothing but cast iron and rotary pump logic. No computer, no onboard diagnostics, not even a pretend tense of electronic injection. The only wire that matters is the one to the glow plug button on the dash, a 12-volt manual glow circuit that you hold down until the engine is ready. If you forget, the truck reminds you with a cloud of white smoke and a stubborn refusal to fire. The heart of this rig is the Navistar rotary injection pump. It is a purely mechanical unit, no sensors, no solenoids, no digital fail-safes. Fuel goes in, pressure comes out, and the injectors do their job because a metal cam inside the pump says so. The 6.9 puts out 170 horsepower and 315 pound-feet of torque. That is more twist than the old GM 6.2-liter, and you feel it in every slow, deliberate launch. Nobody's winning a drag race, but if you're towing hay or dragging a trailer up a muddy hill, torque is what matters. Here is the catch. The DB2 pump on these Fords hates water in the fuel. One bad tank can seize the pump and leave you stranded with a repair bill of more than $1,200. The fix is a $50 water separator. Install it once, forget about it, and you will dodge the single biggest IDI killer. Glow plugs are another wear item, but they are cheap and easy. $12 each, swap them out every couple of winters, and you're set. In 2026, you can still find running 6.9-liter IDI-F, 250s and F350s for $3,000 to $7,000. The price climbs for crew cabs and clean beds, but plain work trucks stay ignored by collectors. That's the advantage. No one is bragging about their manual glow IDI at a car show. These trucks aren't pretty, but they are field serviceable, EMP-proof, and indifferent to the latest emissions panic. When the grid goes down, the 6.9 IDI just asks for diesel and a strong battery. That is why it is on the list. Number 3 breaks the diesel streak and lands squarely in gas territory. This is the Dodge D series from 1972 to 1985, with either the 318 or 360 LAV8 under the hood. This is the work truck that refuses to die, not because it is collectible or beautiful, but because it is so basic that even a hungover farmhand with a crescent wrench can keep it running. Forget computers. These engines run on Carter carburetors, gravity, and spite. The 318 gets a 2-barrel Carter AFB. The 360 usually wears the 4-barrel Thermo Quad. Both are pure mechanical, no feedback, no sensors, no digital choke. If you find a 1978 to 1981 truck, you will see the infamous lean burn module, a Chrysler experiment in electronic ignition that is about as reliable as a politician's promise. Mopar specialists have been deleting lean burn for decades. $40 buys you an ignition conversion kit, yank the module, swap in a traditional distributor, and the truck is back to full mechanical sovereignty. No computer, no OBD, nothing to brick the engine if a wire grounds out in a rainstorm. Power. The 318 is good for 145 to 170 horsepower, depending on year and smog gear. The 360, with the 4-barrel, pushes 195 horsepower and 285 pound-feet of torque. Not fast, but plenty to haul scrap, pull a horse trailer, or drag a neighbor's Silverado out of a ditch. The 727 Torque Flight Automatic is bulletproof. The Dana 60 rear axle is shared with early Cummins diesels, and the frame is so overbuilt you will run out of body before you run out of truck. Every part, carburetor, starter, alternator, even glass, is available at the farm supply or the local junkyard. Here is the catch: rust. Dodge never met a fender it could not turn into lace. Floor pans, rockers, cab mounts. If it is steel, it is probably soft. If you are shopping these trucks, bring a screwdriver and a tetanus shot. But prices stay low for a reason. Nobody is flipping D150 trucks at Barrett-Jackson. You can buy a running, driving D-Series for $1,500 to $5,000 in 2026. That is less than the sales tax on a new Ram. The reason is that gas engines never get the diesel respect, and the Mopar crowd is too busy chasing challenges. That is your advantage. For mechanical independence on a budget, nothing beats a Dodge LA V8. It is not glamorous, it is not fast, but it will run long after the grid goes dark, and the only thing left in the comments is the sound of crickets. Number 2 is the Chevy and GMC versions of the CK platform, with the 350 small block and a Rochester Quadrajet on top, 1973 through 1980 bone stock, or 1981 to 1986 with 5 minutes and a $250 swap. This is the square body you buy if you want to own every part of your truck, not just rent it from a circuit board. The 350 was everywhere: farm trucks, city fleets, oil field beaters. It is the most common American V8 for a reason: simple, cheap, and nearly impossible to kill. But there is a catch. Starting in 1981, GM installed the Computer Command Control System, known as CCC. That is the enemy if you want zero computers. CCC means a feedback carburetor, an oxygen sensor, and a tangle of wires that can brick your truck over a $12 sensor. The fix is simple: yank the CCC carb, toss the harness, and bolt on a pre-1980 Quadrajet or a new non-feedback unit. $250 gets you a rebuilt carb and total control. No more digital choke, no more check engine light, no more OBD port. The engine does not care. Fuel, spark, compression, and you are gone. The Quadrajet itself is a legend. It is a spread bore, 4-barrel with tiny primaries for mileage and massive secondaries for power. Yeah, it has quirks, leaky well plugs, sticky floats, and a throttle shaft that wears out after 200,000 miles. But every part is on the shelf at Napa or the farm store. Rebuild kits run $40, and a full swap takes a Saturday and a socket set. Want to rejet for more power? Easy. Need to tune for ethanol? Done. No laptop, no scan tool, no dealer required. Transmissions are just as bulletproof. Most of these trucks run the TH350 or the TH400 automatics, or the SM4654 speed manual with a granny low first gear. Both can be rebuilt on a bench with basic tools. The driveline is pure analog, no solenoids, no sensors, just gears and levers. That is why you see these trucks still working on ranches and job sites 40 years later. Prices in 2026? You can still grab a long bed, two-wheel drive C10 or K10 for $3,000 to $7,000, running and driving. Short bed and 4x4 models are collector bait now. Let the Instagram crowd pay $25,000 for a show truck. The workhorses are cheap because nobody brags about a faded blue C10 with a bench seat and a rusty tailgate. But that is the deal: overlooked, ignored, and still sovereign. You want a truck that answers to you, not a computer? The CK350 with a Quadrajet is the best GM gas bargain left. And yes, a gas engine at number 2. Wait until you see what takes the top spot. Number 1 is the Ford 300 inline 6, and if you're surprised, you're not alone. On a channel where diesel usually wins every argument, the king of mechanical independence is a gas engine that most diesel guys would not give a second glance at a truck meet. But the facts are stubborn. From 1975 to 1985, the Ford 300 was the last truly analog workhorse you could buy in a full-size pickup. After 1985, Ford switched the 300 to electronic fuel injection, and the computers moved in for good. Before that, it is all cast iron, forged steel, and a carburetor you can rebuild on a picnic table. This engine is not legendary because it is fast or rare. It is legendary because it refuses to die, and it could not care less about trends. The 300's block is pure overkill, thick cylinder walls, 7 main bearings, and if you find a 1975 to 1977 model, a forged crankshaft that will survive anything short of sabotage. Compression ratios run from 8.5 to 1 in the early years to 9.2 to 1 by 1980. But the torque curve is the real story. Peak torque, 260 pound-feet, hits at just 1,800 revolutions per minute and stays flat through 2,500. That is stump-pulling grunt, not spec sheet bragging. Here is why the Ford 300 is the ultimate zero-computer truck. It runs a single-barrel carburetor, a mechanical fuel pump, and a distributor with points and a cap you can swap in 5 minutes. There is no engine control module, no onboard diagnostics port, no sensors to brick the engine. Every part interchanges, starters, alternators, carbs, water pumps, with a dozen years of F-Series and E-Series vans, even generators and forklifts. If you need a cap and rotor, it is $22. A carburetor rebuild, $85. You can keep a running 300 alive for less than the price of a tank of diesel in a new Super Duty. The market ignores these trucks because they are slow, ugly, and gas-powered. That is your opportunity. In 2026, you can still grab a running F-150 or F-250 with a 300 for $2,000 to $6,000. No one is flipping them at auctions. No collector is chasing a faded blue long bed with a 4-speed and 3 pedals. But when every other truck is waiting on a sensor or locked down by a dead engine control module, the 300 just asks for gas and a spark. For every diesel diehard in the comments, here is the truth. The Ford 300 is the last sovereign truck engine you can buy for under $8,000. No computer, no drama, no apologies. It is not the truck you dream about. It is the truck that keeps your dreams running when everything else quits. Every time someone asks why the first-gen Cummins is not on this list, the answer is simple: price. The 1989 to 1993 Dodge W250 and D250 with the 12-valve Cummins 5.9 are the holy grail for diesel purists. Bosch. VE rotary pump, zero computers, and a reputation for running forever on tractor fuel. But in 2026, these trucks left the realm of the working class. Auction listings do not lie. A running, uncut 12-valve Cummins brings $10,000 to $15,000, even with farm scars and 250,000 miles on the clock. Clean originals cost $20,000 to $35,000, and the only thing rarer than a cheap one is a stock one that has not been flipped or restored. Ask any auctioneer and you will hear the same thing. If it has a Cummins badge and it runs, it is 5 figures, no questions. The price wall is real. Every truck on this list had to clear the $8,000 bar, and the Cummins missed it by a mile. That is not nostalgia, that is the market. That is why the real bargains now are the ones nobody is bragging about on Instagram. Every cheap truck on this list owes its price tag to one thing: the market's obsession with legends. Everyone wants the first-generation Cummins, the Power Stroke, or a square-body short bed with a bow tie. The result? The trucks that actually let you control your own fate, slow diesels, ugly gas rigs, long beds nobody brags about, stay invisible. Collectors chase badges and horsepower numbers, not mechanical honesty. That leaves the real bargains for anyone willing to look past the hype. It's not about nostalgia, and it's not about settling. It's about knowing what the market ignores. The moment a truck gets a reputation, Cummins, 12-valve, Power Wagon, Highboy, the price doubles overnight. The ones that don't get Instagram glory, those are the trucks still working, still cheap, still sovereign. The Ford 300, the 6.2 Detroit, the LA small blocks, nobody's flipping them at auctions, and that's why you can still buy them for less than a new set of tires on a modern diesel. But this window is closing. As the collector crowd runs out of Cummins and Power Strokes, they'll start sniffing around the trucks we just listed. Once they figure out these rigs can shrug off an EMP and run on basic tools, the prices will climb. If you want mechanical freedom, now is the time. Don't wait for the market to catch on. Buy the truck. The internet laughs at today, and you'll be the one laughing when everyone else is stranded by a bad sensor tomorrow. Mechanical sovereignty is not nostalgia, it is survival. In 2026, a carbureted Ford 300 or pre-1998.5 12-valve Cummins is not just a tool, it is independence from sensors, modules, and dealer-only diagnostics. You want a truck that runs on parts, not permissions. These are not collector dreams, they are the last real workhorses. The market ignores them. Do not. Drop your diesel favorites or gripes in the comments. We read every wrench-turning reply.